Let's kick it right off. Long ball number one for Wednesday, January 15th. Can you believe it? Midway through January. Yesterday, Jurgen Klopp introduced as Red Bull's head of soccer. And within that conversation, he was declared Dr. Football. What'd you make of Jurgen Klopp's introductory press conference, Jason?
Well, first of all, it was like an hour and a half long, so I can't pretend to have sat through the entire thing with Jurgen on a stage at Red Bull headquarters being feted, lots of journalists on hand, people watching online. You said he was declared Dr. Football. He declared himself Dr. Football. He gave that title to himself, which is certainly a move. Now, if you're wondering what the context was, look, obviously, as head of global soccer, global head of soccer, which is indeed the actual title, and there was a couple of minutes in the very beginning of this press conference. You know, it's not a press conference. It's an introduction. So you've got a hand-picked host, and then you've got Jurgen Klopp, and then you have, I believe, Oliver Mintzlaff, who is head of everything, one of the big muckety-mucks, Red Bull's chief executive. That's what Oliver Mintzlaff is. And Oliver Mintzlaff's the guy who convinced Jurgen Klopp to take this job. So they're on the stage answering questions, hand-picked questions, nothing too hard-hitting. And Jurgen Klopp is, as head of soccer, had to answer the question, do you call it soccer or do you call it football, Jurgen? And he said, well, for me, it's football. But, in America, they call it soccer. It's fine. Oliver Mintzlaff talked about how he got on the phone with Alexander Seferin of UEFA. And Alexander Seferin said, when he was told about Jurgen Klopp taking this job as head of soccer, he said, no, you call it football with me. Because Alexander Seferin is very precious about the words he uses for this game. It's football. It's not soccer. How dare you? Are we still doing this?
Yeah,
it's 2024, Rob. Are we still doing this?
The tiredest conversation in all of sports, probably, and especially in the soccer world, is who really cares? It's called multiple things in multiple places. No one's given the Italians grief about calling Gaucho or anything like that.
No,
so let's move beyond that. And why did he allow one of his most high-profile hires to be labeled the head of soccer if they had some sort of a stick in their rear about calling it that in the first place?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's actually interesting. I mean, they covered it, but I think what it indicates to me is that there is definitely a sense here at Red Bull that their expansion into markets that call it soccer is going to be the major driver of their growth in this game. That's my sense. That's just a guess, right? I'm just reading tea leaves based on the title they gave Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the Dr. Football thing, again, head of global or global head of soccer, whatever it is, he's got multiple clubs under his purview. He did take pains to point out that he will not manage any of these clubs, right? He said because it only naturally flows that we would all be wondering if there's a problem at Leipzig, if there's a problem at Salzburg, probably not Brazil, probably not Major League Soccer, but if there's a problem at some of these bigger clubs in Europe, maybe Jurgen Klopp steps in, saves the day, rides in on his white horse. Does he have a white horse? Rides in on whatever he rides in on and saves the day for Red Bull, for the club, for RB Leipzig or whatever. He said, I'm not doing that. Now, I think I believe him, but I think it's also interesting that he needs to say it. And then, of course, he's talking about the big picture and the number of clubs and his expertise and what he can bring. So he said when he went to Leipzig's win over Werder Bremen this weekend, I saw 47,000 supporters there, and 42,000 of them were supporting Leipzig. And I thought, do they not deserve good football? I know how the start was for the club, but I really feel they deserve it. In Salzburg, in New York, in Brazil, they deserve support and improvement. Football can give you positive vibes for a city and a region. I love that fact. Quote, a doctor doesn't differentiate when a patient is coming from a different city. A lawyer doesn't either. If you like, I am Dr. Football. I love helping wherever I can, where I can give my all. Dr. Football, Jurgen Klopp. What do you think?
He's never short on a quotable moment. I'll give him that. I mean, and go back to your point about putting the hard brakes on coaching a team. I'd say he is really good at protecting what he will or won't do. Yeah, riding in a Red Bull is accurate, but he is going into he's looking for a less pressure situation, and he's like, whoa. I'm not going back to being the man on the hot spot. He wants to have the 30,000 foot view, maybe kind of like chip in with some advice, or, do press conferences and shake some hands and maybe throw in some 2 cents about maybe, what the pursuit or what the teams under the Red Bull umbrella should be doing or adjusting, but he definitely was pumping the brakes on coaching. And the way he's kind of interacting there, it seems like he is almost like maybe just done with being a head coach. I think he's just completely gassed and just wants nothing to do with it.
Well, I don't think he's capable of
going
not going.
No half measures for him.
No. There's no second gear, third gear. If we're going to use a Red Bull reference, he talked about Max Verstappen and learning from him. But there's no like easing into it or slowing down a bit or being able to sort of be in the job but not go 100%. I mean, the man's famously a heavy metal guy. It's all about this super intense approach to the game and to his job. It's how he played, it's how he's managed, and yeah, it definitely feels like he's burned out on managing day to day. I don't know if it's fair, but this definitely feels like semi-retirement to me. It doesn't mean he can't be impactful. It doesn't mean he can't do something good in the job. But this is not what we celebrate football minds for, being the head of global soccer for a conglomerate like Red Bull who's got clubs on multiple continents, right? We celebrate managers who are there day in and day out, leading their team, setting the tactics, picking the squad, helping them win. I mean, how much ink has been spilled on what Arne Slot did against Nottingham Forest to get a goal from 2 substitutes? I mean, it's like he discovered the holy grail, Arne Slot, because he put on Diego Jota and Tsimikas and they combined for a goal. Oh, how great is Arne Slot? I mean, that's what we celebrate. We're not going to be like, oh, Jurgen Klopp. Look how good Leipzig is right now in any given moment. Look how good Salzburg is, or the Brazilian club, or New York Red Bulls. We're going to celebrate Jurgen Klopp for that? No, we're going to celebrate the teams or we'll talk about the managers on the field. And I guess at some point we'll mention Jurgen Klopp. At some point we'll mention his influence.
Like if all of a sudden every Red Bull team has a marked improvement over the next 3 years, maybe he'll get some kudos on that sort of thing. But,
and how likely is it that all the Red Bull teams are going to be good at the same time? How likely is that?
It seems hard because most of the time, like if someone or a player, goes on a hot run, they would kind of get either sold or moved to a higher level Red Bull team, right? So it'd probably be unlikely that all of them could have all the stars at the same time or all of them be in top form all at the same time. But we shall see. But out of the limelight as far as coaching a specific team, but Jurgen Klopp on the job officially now as Red Bull head of soccer.